Hello there, this is a short video guide using Ebook Central. Ebook Central is an ebook platform which is available using your Coventry University login. In order to log in, let's first go to the Partners LibGuide. From the Partners LibGuide, use the Library Resources tab. Ebook Central is the first option there. You'll see other resources available to you with your Coventry University details also listed. Click on the Ebook Central link. You will then reach the authentication page. You will need to put in your username and password. Your username is usually a combination of letters and numbers at coventry.ac.uk, so it's formatted like an email address. Your password should be known only to you. Click on Sign In and you should get access to the system. This opens up the Ebook Central platform, which looks like this. There's a couple of different ways of using Ebook Central. We're going to look at two of them. You can click on the Browse Subjects option in the centre of the screen. You'll be presented with a list of subjects. Select the one which is closest to what you're looking for. So I'm going to choose Business and Management. I've got 43,000 results here, which is possibly too many for me to look at. So I'm going to limit down in a few different ways. I'm going to limit it down to books published in the last 10 years or so. So I'm just going to tick all those up and click on Apply. This has already reduced my number down to about 7,500. I can also select which subject I'm interested in within the general business area. So I'm looking for something around decision making and problem solving. This has reduced my list down to 73 books, which is far more reasonable for me to have a look through. I can find one which looks interesting and click through to look at it. But let's go back and have a look at the other way of finding books first. So here, I could do a search directly into that front page. So I'm going to do a search for risk management and do a search. A search just for the term risk management without anything further done to it has given me 183,000 results. That's probably too many for me to have a look through. So I'm going to try to use the advanced search function instead. Advanced search is one of the options you'll see on that front page again. I'm going to change my search from keyword and full text, which is what it defaults to looking just for text in the title. This should really narrow down my results. I can also limit it down, so I'm not looking for books before about 2015. I can also limit by things like language and also the format of the book which is available to me. So I'm going to do a search here now, and I will see 152 results. Again, far more reasonable number. So I can select a book and go through to that. So I'm interested in operational risk management. When I click on a book, I can see the title again, as well as the authors. On this right hand side, I can also have a look when the book was published in print. This is sometimes a different date to when it was published as an ebook, because sometimes they do it a little bit quicker, sometimes it's a little bit slower. But usually nowadays for modern books, it's around the same time, day and date. I can also find out how I can access the book. Usually we'll be reading online. Sometimes you might want to download the book as well, either as a PDF or as an ebook. So I'll click on the Read Online link to access the book now. If I want to cite the book, I've got the option for it here. I'll also see that inside the book view as well. The little quotation mark in the speech balloon will give me the option for the citations. So I can choose APA, Harvard, and a couple of other kind of popular formats. It's worth saying it won't necessarily be a perfect version of a reference. However, it will be good enough for you to edit and make your own. So I'm going to click on the Read Online link in order to access the book. When we open it up, by default, Research Assistant is turned on. This provides summaries and insights about the book. What it essentially does is give AI-generated summaries of the chapters as well as the overall general content. We use AI summaries to get a context about the book. However, it's not going to really tell us a huge amount about the content or about the meaning. So we want to use it to determine, is this going to be worth my time looking through it, or should I move on and try something else? For the actual content we want to put into our work, we should be using the book content itself rather than the Research Assistant. So I'm going to minimize that down for now while we have a look through. I can navigate through page by page in the book, or I can jump to the page I'm interested in. I can use some of the other options on the top to also navigate through the book. So this little bullet point list again provides me with the chapter titles, so I might want to jump straight to the chapter I'm interested in. So I'm going to go for the risks facing banks, for example. Or I can do a search for a term which I think will appear within the book. It also will correct my spelling if it's poor. So I can see where the terms appear throughout the book. I can also, by clicking on those, see a little bit of context about where it's being used within, part of a sentence in the book. I can pick one which looks useful. It will open up that page and it will flag where it's showing up. So in this case it's in the further reading section, but I'm sure that if I pick one further down, that's a more in context one I might want to use. So between the table of contents, search within the book, these are functions you can't get from a print book, so it makes using an ebook a little bit more efficient sometimes than kind of scrolling through and hoping for serendipity when we're using print. I've got a few other useful settings within the eBook Central interface. So we can change our font size. So if you prefer it to be slightly larger, obviously you can do that. And we also have this setting called annotations. So at the moment there's nothing in there, so this is the next section of the video. If I see something useful in the text, I might want to copy it. So usually to copy, we'd highlight and then we'd press copy, or right click and try to copy. We can't right click in eBook Central because it's a slightly different way of presenting the information. However, we do get a copy button just there. We can copy out the text. It will also actually provide a copy of the reference underneath, so we've got it straight away. You might want that for your notes, or you might want to just copy off the text you're interested in and click copy to clipboard. It's worth bearing in mind we probably aren't going to be copying large amounts of text to put into our work. We're better to use paraphrasing and summarising of arguments rather than directly quoting in order to make the best use of our word counts. But we can do that copy function if we need to. What we can also do is start to use the book as a source in itself. So we have got some options like highlighters. We have 3 different highlight colours, so you might choose to use a different highlighter for each different part. So you might have some for questions, some for good points, and some for the kind of other elements you're interested in. So have a kind of system of how you might want to use your highlighting. We can also make notes about content. So I might want to highlight this section and then say as a note, data points. As you can see on the annotations column, I'm now starting to fill that in. So I can see what I've highlighted and what the text was. I can see for the note I read what the note was, and I can click on it to get straight back to it. I can also, if I've been scrolling through and think, oh, that entire page is quite useful, I can put a bookmark in it. Again, that will appear in my annotations page in order to get straight back to it. This is useful when you're working in the text. It can also be really useful when you want to come back to it. So these annotations will stay in the book when you're logged into your account. If I go back now to the front page of eBook Central, I can see an option called Bookshelf. Bookshelf will show all the things I've recently looked at. It will also show the books I've annotated, so the book I've just been looking at is in there. I can see books I've looked at in the past, and I can see all the different annotations I put into that book. So I can go back, I can have a look at those annotations and jump straight to the bits I was using before. So in my annotations, I've got some annotations in chapter 1 and in chapter 2. I can see what I've highlighted, I can see the notes I put in. So if I'm looking for something about the Hofstede theory, I can go straight into that point and find it. So it can be really useful. You don't have to use these functions, obviously. You can just read it, grab the content out, make your notes in a Word document or the Notes app or however you choose to work, but it's there if you want it. So this was a short introduction to the eBook Central platform. Have an explore, see what you find in there. It's got good coverage for most of our subject areas, and it provides some useful features for you to kind of go a little bit deeper with research. Thank you for listening, happy researching, goodbye.